we should observe the ancient ritual of traditional pre-fight donuts.
Yeah!
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Shut up!
Break, not hit back.
Silly Caucasian girl likes to play with samurai swords.
You will all refer to me by the name Betty.
I know Kung Fu.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
I said I don't want trouble.
Only an idiot can destroy a ninja.
Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No,
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kickflix. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. My name is Mike Gunkata Mercadal. With me, as always, is
Nery the Father Saenz. You know, it's funny. I almost picked Gunkata.
Who wouldn't pick Gunkata? This is the movie that. I think this might be the first time they invent the Gunkata. They even go through the trouble of explaining it literally, like a demo, like it's a TED Talk. But thank you, everybody, for joining us this week on Kickflix. Today, you can follow us at Kickflix Pod on all social media platforms. We are a martial arts / action movie podcast. We like talking about movies that fall into our idea of Kickflix, which we have our own categorization methods. We have our own judgments, and we watch a movie, we talk about it. So there will be spoilers if you have not seen this week's movie. This week's movie is Equilibrium from 2002 with Christian Bale and a bunch of other people that are pretty established, like actors. There's a lot of things. I remember this movie from when it came out in 2002 because it felt like the Matrix spoof, like a ripoff a little bit of the Matrix, but also
a little bit.
I think so. We'll get into it because this movie came out in 2002. The tagline is in an oppressive future where all forms of feeling are illegal, a man in charge of enforcing the law rises to overthrow the system and the state. Spoiler alert a little there in the tagline. I mean, there should be some mystery. Is he going to win or not? No, he's there should be some mystery.
I don't think there's all right.
You don't think there's any mystery? You don't think he does it?
I don't think there's any mystery. There should be any mystery. Like it wasn't. This wasn't in a time of will the good guy win? It's.
I think this also is like the start of there's an era of movies that I blame for a lot of what's going on in the world right now with the redeemable villain, where suddenly every villain has to be sympathetic, or we have to know their motivation. Like you can't just be a bad guy; you had to be a bad guy with
reason,
a troubled past. Yeah, something like that. And that's why we're in the situation we're in right now. The director of this movie, Kurt Wimmer, is also the writer of this movie, which you can see there was a lot of the author. We'll get to it, but it's there's a lot of you get the metaphor, right? Like the metaphor for life. But it does introduce Gunkata, which is a really stylized form of martial arts. They call it gun fu with the all of that stuff that is different than the Matrix, but not.
It's different in the sense of not as good.
Did you?
That's it. That's all there is.
Did you see? I love this movie, but not because it's good. Had you seen this movie, or was this your first? You had never seen this movie.
No.
Can you tell the people what the process you had to go through to see this movie was?
I was on a cruise ship, and what happens is the cruise ship, when you're on Wi-Fi, the cruise ship, it picks up whatever satellite is the cruise ship has.
Your location, yeah.
Your location. So when I am in Europe, it is picking up the satellite from Barcelona or I don't know, something like that. I could always kind of tell which one I'm using because two things happen. One, the language would change. and two, the language will change in your Google searches, just like just looking up Google searches, your language changes. And two, every once in a while, Facebook will hit me up. It was like, hey, you just signed in Madrid.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
So this has its benefits and casualties. The benefits are that a lot of times living in Florida now, there are some sites that the state does not want me to watch. But there are, but this is the loop around. This is the little loop.
The loophole.
Yeah, the loophole. There you go. The little loophole that I could look at these websites every once in a while when the ship is in a certain location. The bad thing is, I looked up this movie Equilibrium, and they were like, "Cool, it's on Pluto TV." I'm like, "Perfect. Pluto TV is free." And then I started watching it, and like the first 5 minutes, because it's a dystopian future and there's a voiceover, I legitimately didn't know if what was happening was actually happening, it was all in Spanish, including
you're like, am I hearing this?
Yeah, no.
Am I hallucinating right now?
No, it's not that I'm hallucinating. I thought to myself, is it meant to be in Spanish and it's like ironic or like part of the dystopian future, and now everybody only speaks Spanish, and then soon the movie will turn into English. Like that's what I thought. And
in a dystopian future, everyone speaks Spanish.
Yeah, and so they were like, so that's what I thought. I was like, are they doing this on purpose, or is it because of my location? Because it's not like the browser flat out tells you, hey, you are now in Mexico, so you're now listening to Spanish. It doesn't tell you got to pick up on certain things. So I tried to watch this movie, and then I waited for like 3 days till we were out of Mexico. The ship was out, and they were still picking up Mexican satellites, and I was like, okay. So then I went and bought the fucking movie because I've heard about this movie a lot. And if I would have dug deeper into my memory, I would have remembered that a lot of people hated this movie and a lot of people liked the movie.
It's very divisive.
But nobody ever says it's good. You either love it or hate it, but nobody ever says it's good. But I didn't think that far ahead. I was just like, oh, this is a popular movie. This is like Iron Monkey, where you go, you know what, just buy it because it's a popular movie.
Yeah.
And so I did, and $15 later, I'm writing to Apple.
$15.
It was $14.99.
That's how much it costs? Damn.
$14.99. And $15 later, I'm here writing to Apple like, is there a way to get can I just exchange this for a rental? Can I be charged for a rental instead of the full $15?
Man, I commend you for buying it. I love so
it was only because of the podcast. If I would not have to have done it for the podcast, I would not have bought it.
Why didn't you just rent it?
Again, I'm opposed to spending $4 or $5 for a rental if it's a movie, because I'm like, well, if I like it, then I just like I don't like the idea.
That's fair. I have owned this on DVD for a while. Oh, look who's in the chat. Hilda. Hello. Good morning, Hilda. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about 2002's Equilibrium with Christian Bale and Taye Diggs. Yeah. I owned this movie on DVD. And there is I remember this movie fondly because there's a very I cherish the old DVD director commentary tracks that you used to get. I don't understand why we can't have that anymore.
You can.
I don't understand where, like, but they don't like it's where, how, like, do they have it?
Yeah,
like they can just have it as a secondary. Well, no, but I'm talking about streaming. Like stream.
Not streamers do it because they don't want that, but if you own the movie, you'll have that. If it comes in, I have it. I paid $15 for it. You want to go watch it? It comes with it comes with everything that the DVD comes with. It's everything.
Oh, but that's if you buy that, just goes to show
you go to the special features. You go to the special features, and
right,
and then you go to the and then you go and you pick the selection of like director's cut or director's commentary.
Yeah. The director's commentary on this guy, he goes through, and because all of this was shot in Berlin, which was like already war torn. So that when they were showing like the dystopian future, and I'm like, well, they had a dystopian past.
Yeah, that's
you know
so
what I mean? Like that.
That's so true.
Like when they were having these shootouts in these buildings, like some of those bullet holes were just there. You know, like that was the whole time I was thinking. I was like, yeah, we need to find a country that's like pretty fucked up, and then they're like, yeah, we have a few of them. anyway, this movie I enjoyed it. This was when I was in my like when I graduated high school and I was like in my like where I started. You know when you start to accumulate or collect like all of the stories you consume that you identify with, and you don't have to like you can choose all of those things. I was also into martial arts heavy then at that time, so it's like I was really collecting as much martial arts stuff as I could. And this was one that I was like, yeah, I love it. I was one of those guys that it's better than The Matrix.
Oh, wow.
The idea, I get the idea. Like, I get it, man. Like, you're supposed to feel, you know. I was like a dumb 21-year-old.
I'm trying to leave my review to I'm trying to leave my final score to the I'm trying to leave my real feelings like somebody that's in this world. So I'm trying to leave my feelings out of this. So I don't want to say how dumb what you're saying right now is.
Again, none of it makes sense. It's Kickflix, baby. I look, we all have our own we have our own unique and individual feelings, and we have to embrace them as this movie has taught us to do. Let's jump to the parents guide because it's Kickflix. We got to make sure that everybody knows what they're getting into. We saw a lot of these movies you want to sit down and show your kids because we're from the 90s, but this one, Equilibrium, is rated R. What do we have? This is from the IMDb listing. What do we have for sex and nudity? The categories are none. Mild, moderate, or severe. None. A man's bare chest is seen when he wakes in bed. Not meant to be sexual. Yep. A painting of a completely naked woman is shown very early in the film. There's that. Violence and gore.
Mild.
Moderate, because
moderate.
He goes through a bone snapping. Yeah. Okay. A man's leg is broken during a fight. You see his leg snap.
Well, it's not it's not the gore. It was the violence. So it is violent. There are shootings.
Yeah.
There are
There's and also like several execution scenes that are pretty. I mean, I guess that might fall into. There's a lot. There's a lot of. I mean, there's ass kickery in this that's pretty brutal. And use of profanity. This is my favorite one.
Mild.
Yeah. One use of fuck, 3 uses of shit, and damn, 1 with God. So again, love the receipts. Someone put a timestamp. Fuck is exclaimed briefly at 51 minutes and 40 seconds on the Netflix version, which must be an international thing because that's not on Netflix, or it was maybe. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking.
You know, it's funny. I have that same timestamp in my notes.
In your notes,
51 minutes and 45 seconds. I have that time. I swear to God, I have that timestamp.
How are you timestamping your note? You timestamp your notes?
Well, no, because there's a very specific note that I want to be like. This is. There's a very specific like. You'll see. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking.
None, right? None.
It's mild. Everyone is forced to take a drug.
Oh,
It's a drug,
it's the
technically.
Serum, right? I never saw it as a drug because they call it a serum.
You never think about it, but it is 100% a drug. Frightening and intense scenes.
Mild?
Moderate. Many gunfights and violent fights, including arms being twisted or snapped. And the dog scene.
I have my notes about the dog.
Yep. We'll get into it. This movie, it was so that was moderate. This movie is 15 and over in Denmark. In Italy, it is rated teen. In Japan, it is rated Z. I don't know what Z means, but in the United States, it was rated R. What do you say we get ready and jump into the story of Equilibrium on Kickflix?
Let's go.
We start with the Miramax logo, which means it's good because nothing bad has ever happened under the Miramax logo. Under the Miramax watch. We of course start with narration, where this is the first years in the 21st century. The world ended, just like in the Matrix. The late 90s were like the peak of human civilization, right? Like there's always that sci-fi thing where we have to say, well, time stops now. So the future we show you is not a future, and like much like Kickflix movies we've covered, this movie gets real efficient with introducing the Grammaton cleric. It gets real efficient with just dropping you into the story. Exposition dumps all over the place in this movie. And introduces the Grammaton cleric. After World War III, man introduces the new gun-wielding martial artist to attack all these cuck snowflakes and their feelings. So basically, it's like a lot of sci-fi movies. We have to explain how we got here. We cut to a police raid starring the guy from Prison Break, or basically, and they're basically just like protect the porn, because that is what elicits the most emotions, right? It's basically like we see a full-on SWAT team of badasses making entry into an abandoned building, a full crew of police force, but we're not here for them. We're here for Patrick Bateman and 006 about to do some shit, because they have to show that the regular guys are good, but these guys are better.
Yeah. So the moment he came on screen, the moment Bale came on screen, I literally yelled out, "Hey Bale, where do you get your clothes? The Matrix?" That was my line.
Got him.
Got his ass. And then I didn't realize that the whole fucking movie was a ripoff of the Matrix. I was like, oh, my bad. I thought okay, sorry.
It's a ripoff of a lot of things. Like if you only know the Matrix, no. If you only know the Matrix, you don't know if you're not talking about 1984, you're not talking about all the stuff that the Matrix is based on. It's all there's like the Matrix is also a ripoff of a lot of other things. But they added the simulation element. This is just basically like the opiate of the masses is a very common thing in philosophy. All of these things, it comes
made by Miramax, the same people who made the Matrix.
Why not double dip? Who's running that place? That guy makes sound decisions all the time.
He's like,
that guy's never done anything wrong.
We have these leather coat. We have these black leather trench coats. What are we supposed to do with them? Oh yeah, we could maybe put it into this movie. Maybe this movie will work.
Hold on, let me see here. Police research, yeah. So it literally is, but to pull it separate from the Matrix, visually the style is that, but I don't think the Matrix exists in the 90s and or like a messed up future where we live underground. This is in like a brutalist architecture city. And this, like, it's reality, right? We have to accept that reality. But they also always have, like, the city and then the bad area. Like, they're like, yeah, we haven't cleaned this part out yet. It only works here. It doesn't work over here. You know, like the nether. So in classic Kickflix fashion, we get a scene that introduces just how truly badass these characters are supposed to be. Here come the clerics. And just like in 007, GoldenEye, 006 is there to kind of be like the mirror to the other guy to like set him on course. You know what I'm saying? Like it follows, if anything, it mimics GoldenEye. I
haven't seen GoldenEye in like 20 years, man.
That's the one with 006, right?
There's a lot of them with 006, but okay.
There's a lot of them with 006?
I mean, there's not a lot. Maybe there's more than one with 006. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Out. So we have
I think if not Casino Royale, the following one after that, I think Casino Royale had a 006 where they talked about it. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway, the whole point is that Sean Bean is there to do what Sean Bean does. He shows up, he teaches a lesson, and then he fucking dies. That's all he does. Spoiler alert. And he sets the guy on his course.
And he still gets top billing.
He gets top billing. I'm telling you, Sean Bean, this guy's agent is amazing. Gets him in everything. He doesn't have to be there for the whole shoot because he just gotta die, and that's it. He's Sean Bean crushing it. We get a scene where he says, "When I go in, shoot out the bulbs because he doesn't need light. It's fine. He's good. He's that much of a badass." He brushes through the door, super stylized edits and cuts, and he blacks out in the room, and all the bad guys are like, "Hey, did we get him? Did we get him? No, you didn't get him." So this is the introduction to his badassery. And then we get our first introduction to Gunkata.
So I wrote, it's a cool ass shot of him running into the pitch black room that had windows before, but doesn't now. And it was during the day, but it's not daytime anymore, apparently. That's what I wrote. That was my note for this scene. and I was watching it.
Too many questions there.
I was watching it. You know what's so funny? You can tell this is so funny. So I was thinking about this, right? Because I was like, oh, my notes are kind of critical already, like they were critical, right? And then I was like, you could tell when one of us picked the movie and the other one didn't, right?
Yes.
Because you were super critical of the movie Nobody. Oh, this is old man porn and blah 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 blah. And then you were talking about, and you were giving examples of like his, oh my God, his ears would be blown out because you can't shoot a gun that you're shooting guns that close to your ears and da da da. And then you watch this movie and you're like, there's no fucking ear protection. Everybody's shooting guns next to each other's faces. Like, this is crazy. But yeah, I took
that is
note
100% a real thing. I don't understand why in Hollywood movies, this is a real, as somebody who has hearing loss and tinnitus from like damaging my ears, the last thing I would ever want is to go like this with a gun, like right in here, like in this area. And that's all they do. It's like king.
And
basically.
then so, but I knew it. I was like, there's no way Mike is gonna comment on the lack of hearing protection in this movie because you picked the movie. So you like the movie, and then when I pick a movie that you've never, but you're like, oh, this is old man porn, this is middle-aged white man porn with Nobody, for example, and you were like, look, you don't shoot a gun that close to your face. I'm like, okay, like there's some, but here I am, and I'm like, oh, this is one that gets me every movie though. I don't like this about Endless Ammo. Really fucking annoys the shit out of me.
Yes, they only really address it at the very last
scene. But they didn't even address it. They just finally show him reloading.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's annoying in any movie. In any movie, you just like
every movie. Yeah, dude. I have no qualms about. Again, this is a comedy podcast. It's also like we're just joking around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're just joking around. So,
by the way, this isn't like we're not meant to like. I'm not trying to write a letter to the fucking film director. Like, hey, bitch, this is like we're just shit.
But also like, I also think it's fun. Like, if I pick the movie, it also is fun for me to defend things that are indefensible. Where it's like, what do you mean the Iron Monkey can't do the thing where he smacks his feet on this way when the guy goes like this? He does the sides and then he goes like this, and it's like fucking Bugs Bunny. What do you mean? That's totally great. Like, but the defending the indefensible. The thing is, I do love the swings they took in this movie, right? They straight up, like they literally, that whole gun kata scene is all done with strobe lights. And so you don't even really see Christian Bale moving that much. You just see his arm, because the whole point is that they've gotten so lethal with it that they can know exactly where everyone's going to stand, But so all you see, the everything is done with strobe lights. So it's like, it's just like I admired the swing, like
this feels. Here's a problem that I have with this, or one of the problems that I have with this movie is that the budget is obvious. That this feels like a somehow elevated independent student film.
Yes,
this feels like you gave a student money, but not all the money. But you gave him more money than he would normally have, so he is able to get actors like Christian Bale and Sean Bean, but you didn't give them all, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, oh, all right. Like, it's one of those, like, the production value. Like, it just, because I'm watching it with 2025 eyes, I don't have the 2002 eyes. I'm watching it like, oh, this is corny. And I don't think it's supposed to be corny.
It's not supposed to be. Well, the thing is also like, the production of this movie is also like, they didn't have a lot of money, but this is also during the end of this like independent film boom of like trying to find diamonds in the rough, right?
Yeah.
So like they didn't use any wire work on this. Like they didn't use like it was like
no, of course not. Yeah.
But
wires cost money, dude.
Like, but like the backflip off the motorcycle. We'll get to all that stuff. But all of these things were like the everything that. It's because like we talked about it last time when we last episode with Universal Soldier, where everything had to be special effects because there was no computers at the time, right? Like
there was computers at this time,
but not enough to fully replace and create things. They could change things a little, and they could do little bits of stuff, and it was obvious. But you knew that what they were shooting, what they were doing, was in frame. This is kind of like that, where it was like done in a sense of like that like it does feel like a low budget movie. This was not a big wide release movie. They shot it in Berlin, and they even talk about it in the director's commentary where you had to like duct tape a lot of this stuff together. So that's why it all looks kind of the way it does.
Duct tape together. It looks
Yeah.
together. I get it. Like I get it.
Now this guy also wrote Law Abiding Citizen, which I know you love.
I do love that movie.
He wrote the new Point Break. He wrote the new Total Recall.
I love the new Total Recall.
Yeah. He wrote The Beekeeper. He wrote the screenplay for Expendables 4. He's got a credit for that.
Oof, that's the worst Expendables.
Yeah, I know. But this guy is working, you know? And also, so he's done a lot of stuff.
Like I said, I don't think this is the problem I have with this movie was the production. I think this is the problem with this movie is that all the movies you just mentioned have much higher production value. Like it's something that there's some things that are magical with a low budget, and there are some things that you just need a higher budget for.
I think so too. He also, so this movie, his style was seen in, because remember, this is also the time of like Resident Evil, like all of these, like everyone was looking for an action thing, and like a visually specific signature style.
Yeah,
and
we need our own black trench coat movie, The Underworld.
We can't do the money. We don't have the money for the slow motion camera rig that costs thousands. Now they do it with iPhones. Like, but it used to be like millions of dollars to get bullet time. We can't do bullet time. What's our bullet time? And then the gun kata was something that people paid, because in Ultraviolet, he directed that. He directed and wrote Ultraviolet.
Another piece of garbage movie. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're not
Ultraviolet.
great.
Have you seen Ultraviolet? Ultraviolet is like, I was angry at Ultraviolet for being bad. Like I was angry. I was like, you are wasting my time. This is bad.
This is a waste of my time in an aggressive way. But
it
was like, but the action sequences, like the guy's not a good writer, but I appreciate the swings. Okay, let's just say we go through that for the rest of the movie.
I don't think the problem is his writing. I think the problem is just the money.
Yeah. I guess you could
give this movie the amount of money that The Matrix had. I'm sure you get a better movie.
I would imagine so. So we get the gun kata. He shoots everybody in the room without standing perfectly still. They do that weird shot with the gun barrels glowing, and then that lights up the room for some reason. And what was all this murder for? A secret compartment with the fucking Mona Lisa in it. Get it? Art is bad. Art, it makes you feel is bad, and then they kill it with fire.
This is one of those movies where you got to think. You got to think.
Yeah, literally getting like a baseball bat of metaphor to the face. But what's this? It's revealed that as the two Grammaton clerics ride home in their 90s concept car, which sci-fi movies love to do, that 006 stole some evidence. He stole a book of poetry by Yeats. And then they get questioned about it. He's like, they forget to check this stuff in. Yeah, the most obvious of lies. So then they take us now we get like, this is like the chapter in the novel that just has maps in it, and it just has like basically the instructions for the rest of the book in it. If you read fantasy novels, you know what I'm talking about, where they're like, the magic of this world is built on whatever, you know, like that's how you get it. This is where we go.
You had me at read.
Yeah,
I was done.
We see the city of Libria, get it, Liberty, Libria, as we have a convenient exposition dump from citywide blimps with some guy on there talking about how humanity is basically a bunch of whiny, emotional bitches, and that's the way we had to stop everybody from feeling things. We're introduced to our connection from the last movie, the serum that makes you not feel things. And then the clock strikes whatever as we're panning through this city of people doing all of their business, and then all of a sudden the alarm rings and everybody just straight up. You would think there was a better way to do it, but there's like just straight up injecting shit into their neck, which as a medical professional, I'm like, I hope there's an antibiotic in there also with the medicine, right? Like, because you're poking holes in the skin.
Yeah, you're not even wiping. There's no alcohol swab.
No alcohol swab. No nothing. It's pretty weird. Like what kind of weirdo sets an alarm? You take your medication. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta go take my ADHD medication and my antidepressants. Get it?
But it's a citywide alarm. Like the whole city gets at the same time. which is weird because
Yeah.
If you're born at a different time, doesn't that mean you get the medicine at a different time? Like, you know what I mean? You need it every certain amount of hours. Shouldn't everybody's time be different that you get the medicine? It's weird.
Also, do they give it to babies? Are babies just not crying? They're just kind of like chill. Like, because you ever seen a baby that's like too calm? You're like, that's weird. You're like, the baby's just kind of like.
Well, that's the thing
like,
with parenthood. That's the thing with parenthood. When there's that phrase that says silence is golden, except if you're a parent. If you're a parent, silence is suspicious. Like there's something's happening.
Well, we'll get to the parenting angle on this whole movie anyway. We got brutalist architecture. We got martial arts training in between some columns randomly. We also got kids snitching people out in the streets, really like Nazi Germany style. Get it? And then the clerics return back to headquarters, which is the Tetragrammaton, because everything's got to have a cool name in the thing. And Bruce Wayne has a debrief where we learn he's got like the second sight and he can see people's emotions. But that didn't stop him from noticing his wife getting all emotional, which is, just classic husband shit.
So before we get there, I say that Bruce Wayne asked the king's hand why he didn't give that book into the evidence team. And the hand of the king says he wants to make sure that he turns it in himself. And Bruce Wayne says they will get it all eventually. And that's the scene in the car that we're in the car, which is an important part of this. Is an important scene in the movie that I don't know if you had it in your notes later, but I'm like, no, he was hiding a book.
Yes, it does come in later, but he did steal evidence. He stole the book, and then basically like, oh, sometimes they miss it, or like, basically like, just one for me, classic, classic ACAB cop shit,
dirty cop shit,
so we get him, like, we learn in this debrief from Isaac the Bruce that his wife got arrested. Even though he's supposed to be able to sniff all this stuff out, his wife was right under his nose. Feelings? Mm-hmm. How dare she?
I put here, they show a city with the greatest CGI known to man. Flying above is a Timu swastika flag, which I was very proud of myself for that joke.
Timu swastika,
because that is a fucking Timu swastika flag. That is just...
This movie is not light with the metaphors, dude.
No. we get PA's position, which is another one that I was proud of.
PA's position. There's a lot of that coming up.
A lot of PA's position of anti-human propaganda playing over the speakers and showing on giant TV screens. And it says the disease is human emotion.
Yeah.
That line rang loud. And then guys in turtlenecks doing gun kata, which is not,
but they're doing it empty-handed, and they have the trigger fingers.
And there's nothing less intimidating. It looks like a courtyard at Apple's headquarters during break.
It looks like
it just looks like them, like, again, because they have no guns and they're practicing, it just looks so silly, but it's so funny.
It is, but it's also like, they could karate chop you if they had to, empty hand. But also this guy, I forget the actor's name, but Isaac the Bruce he's literally just, every time I see him, he's Isaac the Bruce from Braveheart. He's just the guy that betrays William Wallace. But he's speaking in an English accent. Why is Christian Bale not allowed to speak with an English accent? Why is he doing his American accent? Right? Christian Bale...
I think he's doing his Batman accent. It slips out a couple times. By the way, I noted the times that his Batman voice comes out.
Or is Batman doing his Equilibrium accent? This did come first. But yeah, so this guy tells him he's like the voice of the father. The father is the guy, hence your name. The father is like
he's the one in charge of the console. He's the top.
He's the guy that you see in the big face 1984 Big Brother style. He's the one that's like
he's the S tier bad guy.
He's the guy. and then this dude is the voice of the I forget what his name. I did not hear his name at all in the thing, but he's the voice. He's told that he better not let any one of these feelies slip through his fingers. And that starts him chasing down his partner, who be feeling. He's been feeling right in front of me. Like I saw that motherfucker feel, like with his book. And then they go out of the safety of the city into a place called the Nethers, which is like, do you think that's a good name? The Nethers?
I don't think this movie has any good names for any of what the hell this is happening. Like none of it.
Tetragrammaton, a cleric. I love actually this like right up there with Judge for Judge Dredd. Like the cleric is the religious judge, you know,
which is why I did it like cleric, because I'm like, oh, you're just stealing this from Judge Dredd.
Well, yeah, of course. Everybody's, you know, it's sci-fi, baby. Everybody steals from everybody.
Hey, that's what I'm just answering your question. It's not like I didn't go like, oh wow, this is a genius name. It's like, oh, cleric, like a judge, but
it's
not.
Also I love Dungeons and Dragons, and cleric is a class in Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, yeah, that's how I would play it. I'm gonna play this character in Dungeons and Dragons. I have to figure out how to put a gun in there, but we'll figure it out. But he heads out to the Nethers, and Sean Bean does some. This is one of those scenes in every Kickflix movie. There's one scene where somebody is acting. They are trying to prove their worth that they could put in their demo reel for a better movie.
Well, this is I listened to the Cinephobe movie podcast, and they have the phrase called "all in a day's work." When you see there's an actor that has a role that he clearly just did in one day, and Sean Bean was you could just tell Sean Bean was just there for the day. Like he was
probably
I'm here for one day, baby. Give me all the shots you need. I'll do all the shots you need. And then he was just for that one day, he was like, I'm gonna act my ass off right here, bro.
Cinephobe. We gotta have them on to do a Kickflix movie if you're still in communication with them. That was your episode of Cinephobe is great. Because you did Law Abiding Citizen, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There we go. We connected. So Sean Bean does some like straight up acting. In a confrontation about feelings and emotion, Ned Stark forces the newsie to shoot him through the poetry. Could you get? Come on, the metaphors leap off the screen. Come on, Nery.
But he also did try to reach for his gun, though.
You know, the poetry is bad.
Yeah, he also did
there
try
is
to
that.
reach for his gun.
He tries
when we see the corpse, and then when we see the corpse later, there's no gunshot wound in his face. But whatever, I get it. Or anywhere. Really.
Well, you know, the book stops it. We really don't see. We really don't see it. But I do that he holds the book up like, if you can't see me, I can't get shot. It's a bulletproof book, you know. And then boom, Taye Diggs appears. That happens a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
The sudden Taye Diggs appearance. And I guess they're partners now. And apparently he's sucking up to. They start to like leave the scene, you know. They started, and Taye Diggs. I have zero recollection of what his name is in this movie because he's just Taye Diggs.
Do you think that Taye Diggs did a good job acting in this movie? I'm not a Taye Diggs hater, by the way. I'm asking specifically about this movie.
I think he plays. I think he's doing his best. Like he's just like they're having maybe
this is a director problem that I have with this, because this is a very difficult thing to pull off, because the whole point of this movie is that they can't show emotions, and Taye Diggs is acting, and he's not acting bad, but for the role he's playing, he's showing emotions, and he's not supposed to be showing emotions. So much so that he literally cracks smiles while he's looking at I was gonna say Keanu Reeves at fucking
Keanu Reeves,
at Bale. He shoots over, like smirks and smiles. I'm like, no, those are feelings, those are emotions, those are literally our faces emoting what we're feeling, and that's the point. You're not supposed to be doing that because you are a cleric.
That happens a few times with this guy. That is a yes, 100%. You're 100% correct. That's why I'm like, he does a good job. I believe his emotions, but that's the problem. He's not. Problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
think he does a good job acting, but for this specific role, you were not supposed to show the emotion.
It's the wrong kind of acting, right?
Yeah,
like the character would not be doing what he's doing. Yeah. So yes, I fully get your point. And then it happens also with the guy, the voice guy, the guy. So they're partners, but so as they're driving back, they're doing this conversation. So he's like, I think you're awesome. He's like sucking up to him, but he's also kind of threatening him. And then
I put flirting question mark.
Flirting question mark.
Like it feels like it's do you want to fuck me? Like what's happening?
Is that not how you flirt?
Like it's like yeah, but like by
well, I was wondering why I struck out so much. It was because I was like
a thinly veiled. It's like a thinly veiled threat behind a over the top compliment.
Yes, yeah.
It's like very weird, and it's like, are we about to do this? And it's like, what's happening?
What are we doing? Yeah, it is an odd tone set between the relationship between John Cleric and Taye Diggs. We get more history lessons through, what was the word you used? PA's position.
Yeah, PA's
convenient TV programming in the background as the cleric comes home. He sees his son being propagandized on the TV.
Real quick. Before I just wrote, there's a note that I wrote for Taye Diggs. Taye Diggs, his new partner, to help him get his groove back. He calls himself intuitive and can, quote, sense what others are feeling before they do. And then he waits an awkward amount of time to talk.
Yeah,
for somebody who's like, oh, I can sense what others are feeling before they do, is like, do you not feel this awkwardness? Because this very much feels like the accountant would thrive in this situation.
Yes,
in this world,
he'd be fine. But also, like, we learn later how intentional this all is, right? We learn later what like, again, this movie is a perfect screenplay and it's executed flawlessly. So we see his son being propagandized, and then we learn that his son is like a snitch. Like, you are a snitch, like your father before you. You are a snitch.
He was a patrol in school. Like, he was doing safety patrols with the orange badges. Their sons
hall monitor energy, real strong hall monitor energy from his son. So he has a son and a daughter.
But here's the thing: I get it. In the console, they explain to us that he has a son and a daughter.
Yeah,
we don't learn that this is his son and daughter
until later,
the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because here, I say, this is the note that I wrote. I said Moses, which is Baal. Moses tells a kid, his kid, that he should unquestionably report the kid that he saw crying.
Yeah.
Like I saw a kid crying today. He doesn't know I saw him, but I saw him. Should I report him? And he was like, unquestionably. Like,
unquestionably is a great, like, what are you, dumb? Yeah. But it's also like, could you imagine being like a horned up teenager? Like, could you, your body still like, is it?
I think it's got to be like multiple dosages of
that. It's like, oh, hey, this girl in my class got boobs. She went through puberty. It's like, what's happening?
It'd be funny the first day of school after a summer, that girl walks in, she got boobs over the summer, and then every dude you just hear the sound.
So family nighttime routine happens. The cleric is John Cleric going to sleep, thinking about his delightful piece of poetry read by Sean Bean. Who wouldn't? It's like dulcet tones in your ears in his northern accent. He gets flashbacks of his wife getting swatted. Like, dude, and everyone is like, dude, she's feeling. Ooh, you didn't know. Ooh,
how do you not even
embarrassing
know?
For you?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. And in the morning,
yeah, it says flashback to when they took his wife. We see martial arts, or do we? I don't know if that's considered martial arts.
You're talking about the
where he's fighting the guys that are taking his wife.
Oh, yeah, no, that's we see there's some that does it count? I don't know. I didn't count it. I'm just saying that's just a struggle. So far, I don't think anything counts as martial arts, because if you have a gun and if you're not dispatching them with your hands or your feet or your body, a gun does not count as a martial art to me. But they're doing that thing where they're trying to cross the streams.
See, that to me is that's a slippery slope, because would you count a sword as martial arts? Of course you would. Would you count nunchucks as martial arts? Of course you would. Would you count a sai as or a
would
bow?
You count a bow and arrow as a martial art? Because
that's projectile. Of course. Again, I say yes. I'm literally gave you the Ninja Turtles weapons one by one.
Yes, no. The Ninja Turtles are clearly martial artists, but the range, the distance, I think, is also like you could, like, are the guys from Wanted? Remember the movie Wanted where they curve bullets? Is that martial arts when they learn to do all of that stuff?
I or have you not spoil my next pick.
Spoiler alert. In the morning, we see the morning routine, but John Cleric breaks his morning meds, and we learn his son is a snitch to him too. He's like, you can handle that shit? And he's like, yeah. I got you. Yeah, we're going to go to Equilibrium. And then not only that, he's like, I told your partner, I told your work that you're going to the doctor. It's like, kid, what the hell? You know?
But there's two things I wrote here. I said, one, he drops his serum and his kid tells him to go log it into and get a replacement. And then I wrote, this is my note. His kid is a dick. Yeah. That was my note. There was nothing creative or funny. I just wrote, his kid's a dick.
Yeah, his kid's just straight up hall monitor snitch energy. Also, and then did you notice the vials are shaped like bullets and they're in a thing that's like a gun that you shoot yourself with, like you're committing slow suicide? Get it with the metaphors.
I wrote that the fact that kid goes, I hope you don't mind, but I told your partner, and I was like, I hope you don't mind, bitch. That's a feeling. The fuck out of here.
Right. Interesting. What counts? That's a good point. What counts as a feeling? Because some of them I just accept, whatever. That certain elements of life have to happen. But also, if no one has emotions, why have a family unit? Like, why have love? Why have
and how do you have you have to get horny. Horny is a feeling.
Unless they're doing some sort of extraction of your
Demolition Man.
Like Demolition Man. But imagine why have a family? Who cares?
Demolition Man counts. Simon Phoenix. Simon Phoenix.
They do martial arts. It's going to the list. We learn Equilibrium is the organization that regulates the interval meds. It's named that because this is an unfeeling future that just gave up on naming things creatively. They're just like, what do we call this place that's responsible for keeping everybody balanced? Equilibrium. Okay, got it.
Luckily, in the future, movie script writers will be much better about naming things. Like the mineral in
unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
That's impossible to obtain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I just laugh every time I see that. I'm like, oh, obtainium. Okay, like every time I see
anytime
you see kind of like equilibrium or like whatever, this is hard as shit hard as shit to come. It's like, okay, whatever, fine, whatever.
Yeah. Just vibranium, because it absorbs vibrations. Like, Jesus. We see and hear through convenient PA exposition that exists in all sci-fi movies that the building was actually closed due to terrorist activity. But then Taye Diggs pulls up, and just in time to make sure that our guy can't get his meds, but our guy just plays along. What is happening? Is he starting to feel? Also, does this mean that John Preston is going to start going through withdrawals? He needs to go to rehab, because then you need to get this man more blankets and less blankets at the same time. Yes. But he's not taking his dose in the morning, and he has not replaced it, and he is not going to. So now we get him his first taste of feelings. Taye Diggs, because I was trying to think of character names that he's played in other movies and I couldn't. So this motherfucker is just Taye Diggs throughout the rest of this movie to me.
Oh, I
don't even know.
I got one.
Well, you got his groove back, but now we're just naming movies he was in.
No, I got a name for him.
You got one? All right.
Yeah, later on.
So Taye Diggs and the guy from Rain of Fire go on a raid to bust the girl from Punch Drunk Love with a secret room of contraband.
Wait, we skipped a scene that I really wanted to get to.
Okay, sure.
After purposely skipping another dosage, he's now having flashbacks and wakes up in a sweat. We're not
not there yet.
Really?
He skipped ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. It's but that's fine. So Taye Diggs was trying to so they go and they go on another raid. Every time Taye Diggs shows up, there's a raid to go on. Like, he's that dude in the video game that there's like a quest, a mission. He's like, hey, saddle up, man. We gotta go. Insert quest here. Yeah. And it's basically like levels in a video game. When they bust her, there's like a room full of like stuff that we take for granted, Nery. Don't you understand? We take for granted how much art is in our lives. And so she's being held hostage. She goes for a gun. And then Taye Diggs goes to return fire, and we think that it's shot, but the director turns the camera and realizes that John Preston stopped the gun. Is he feeling? And then he lies again about like, we need her for questioning.
We need her for titties. I mean,
yeah. In an interrogation room, we get the ideological debate between the feelies and the non-feelies. You know, we get John Cleric feeling for the first time, or in a while. Who knows if he felt as a kid. And you can really tell because the director of this movie is also the writer. The writer's really jerking philosophy off onto the page for us here. Even less subtly,
coming from somebody who wrote Beekeeper, this is very weird.
Yeah, it is. It is like
he's lost all that philosophy throughout his life.
Yeah. This is like he's like, I wrote my manifesto in 2002. I got it all out then. He's like, I learned my lesson. I just purged all my emotions out in one movie, and the rest of it's just for paychecks now. And then now we cut to actually, is there he shoots up in a cold sweat. That comes later. We cut to the training center. Do you think that I skipped?
Because I just wrote after purposely skipping another dosage. This is the first time he skipped another dosage on purpose. Like the first dosage he skipped, it was by mistake. He dropped it. After purposely skipping the first dosage, he's feeling feelings. He wakes up in a cold sweat. He sees rain on the window, and he touches the window, and then he like a 90s R&B music video.
No, that's later. That's way later. Because I did write that down. Yeah. Oh no, it's coming now. We cut to, but then we skip because you skipped the gun kata exposition dump, the info dump on why gun kata is the way of the Tetragrammaton Cleric. Where
they really wanted to make this a thing. They really wanted to make gun kata. They were trying to make this fetch. Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop trying to make gun kata happen. The analysis of thousands of gun battles, of recorded gun battles, have taught us that just point here. And then point here. And then it's basically like you probably hit something. That's literally what the thing is. It's like just to make sure you do a cool karate pose while you do it. But that's basically it. And then basically they figured out how to kill the most efficiently using man's ultimate weapon, math. It's like that guy who's really good at pool. You know, your friend, you have one friend that's like good because he knows how to shoot pool because he knows the angles. It's like, oh, you'd probably be really good at gun kata.
Actually, you know? I don't really know humans like that. What I do know is 90s sitcom characters that are like that. Like every 90s sitcom nerd, Steve Urkel. Yes. Oh wow, yes. I'm actually good at pool because I know geometry. And it's like every like, you know what I mean? Even they did it in the Spider-Man movie with he's like, wait a minute, I'm in Dr. Strange's world. This is all geometry. I'm good at geometry, and he figures it out because he knows geometry. And it's like
he knows math. I'm telling you, these nerds are writing action movies now. But that's what it is. It takes you just got to be good at figuring out triangles, and you're gonna murder people like a motherfucker. Then we cut back to John's house, the cleric's house, Christian Bale, as he watches his kids sleep. He's got the bullet-shaped medicine because remember, metaphors are a fucking sledgehammer in this movie. But he doesn't take it. He refuses to take it. Then he wakes up in a cold sweat because he's clearly feeling feelings he's never felt before. Fear is the first one, but what if it had been like Morningwood? What if it had been like he had a dream about?
I think he's remembering his wife. I think that's the whole thing. That now he's remembering his wife. He's remembering and feeling feelings about his wife.
But right? Yeah, but if it had been a wet dream, he would have drowned in his sleep, right? You're repressing. That's years. That's decades of repression. He would have. Or edging. I mean, he would have blasted his sheets right off of him. It's like could you imagine that's your first like exposure as an adult man? Imagine a guy, we'll say 30s, right? He looks like he's in his 30s. Suddenly feeling these feelings for the first time. Like, does he jerk off? No, he doesn't. So clearly he's repressed. He rises and shines and peels the plastic away from his window and sees a beautiful sunrise like he's Brendan Fraser in Bedazzled, where he just keeps getting overwhelmed by the sun on the horizon.
That's such a good reference. He says, After tearing the tin from his window, a beautiful image of a city shows it's a legit city. There's no CGI. It's not a painting. It's a real city.
It's for real.
It looks real. It does not look real. It looks atrociously
It's
bad.
a matte painting. It's a matte painting.
Yeah. It's clearly, I'm like, oh, it's so funny. And I just thought of the irony of that. Like, he's crying at a fucking painting.
Yeah.
In a movie that he's not supposed to be crying over a painting.
Well, he's not in a movie, Nery. This is his reality.
I know. That's what I was just thinking. It's ironic.
Yeah. But he does that full on, but that, like, I love that scene in Bedazzled where it's like,
that whole movie's fantastic.
That movie's like goated. He freaks out and he's like, I'm afraid, and he goes to take the medicine because all these feelings are scary, and then he doesn't do it. He doesn't. He's like, no, but I'm curious about these feelings. Then we cut to another sci-fi movie, PA exposition dump. But this time it's about the medicines. We learned the medicine's called Prosium. That sounds like a medicine-y thing. It's almost like whenever you see a commercial for a prescription medication, it's like, yeah, man, call it whatever you want, dude. It's a lot Wegovy. Yeah, we've lost all, like it all sounds like parody anymore, like these days. It's just reminding us of things we clearly already know. The emotions. Remember, he's wrong because he's feeling, but we, in a crowd of people, like in a massive crowd of people, 1984 style, he gets his medicine and he dumps all of his bullet-shaped medicine, and to hide it amongst the crowd because my man just wants to feel. Imagine feeling what ecstasy feels like. I can imagine that's what he feels like he's on ecstasy, right? Because he starts rubbing his hands on everything. He starts. I thought he was gonna.
I thought he was gonna. He took his glove off, and I thought he was just gonna do it so he could feel the woman's hand. But no, he just wanted to feel the railing. And I'm like,
don't you do that? I remember that as a kid, where you walk by a fence and you go, or you touch. He was like, your mom would tell you, don't touch that because it's dirty. But I would do that. I was a very tactile one of those kids, so I totally get that feeling. That's like doing your hand, the dolphin hand in the car. Yeah. He's feeling it, man. The guy's rolling balls right now emotionally, right? Could you imagine? Suddenly, all your eyes are open, pupils blown out. He gets to his desk and he starts seeing things, man. He's seeing sounds and hearing colors and shit. And here comes Tay Diggs fucking cock blocking again. And he's like, come on, we got a job to do in the nether.
What are you doing? He's like, I'm changing my desk around. And he's like, why? The fuck, I can't change my desk around, motherfucker?
Well, because
I didn't know that was a feeling.
That's a sign of human creativity. It's a sign of like evaluating your. I don't know, man. I'm fucking making it up to make this good. But it's basically like he's basically says, I'm trying to figure out efficiency. Again, also kind of a feeling. Like, where do the feelings start and stop? What makes us human? But then he does his quest giver thing where he's like, come on, we got a job to do. And this time it's a full-blown like terrorist cell shootout in this warehouse office building style thing. But our guy's having to do all of this while feeling. Fuck that. Universal soldier me, please. This is too many emotions for our buddy John Preston. I had
written that in the notes. It's like he gets a Unisol serum.
Yeah. You got to cool him down. So this is the first time he's doing his job, fully feeling his. I imagine this is like when someone gets sober and they have to go to the office and they're just like, oh my God, I was doing this. I have to do this sober. Gross. The group gets taken out, right? And he starts doing the ecstasy, touching everything again. And he discovers a stockpile of emotional damage in the form of Beethoven playing on a little old-fashioned gramophone, which would be honest, gotta sound fucking good. And if I was rolling balls, it would bring me to tears too. Like if I was tripping, I would be like, this is beautiful.
So I like the fact that he starts crying and he's like, he plays Beethoven, and the only thing I could hear is breathe, Brandon, breathe. Listen to the Beethoven. Take in the Beethoven. And all I can listen to is like, oh, this guy's ready to fucking fight now. He's ready to take on.
He's ready to take on
Olympic wrestlers. He's ready to take on Olympic wrestlers now. This guy's ready.
Yeah. He's ready to take on Tom Hardy in the final round. But yeah, he fully has an emotional moment. He's crying, emotional release. This would happen. I went through a period of my life where I just could not cry. I did not cry for like 20 years. And I would see like on the sub. Yeah, I would see. I'm not saying I'm healthy. I'm not saying it's real? Right. Yeah. Like I just couldn't cry.
When was the release? What year was the release?
I don't know if I have. Maybe like a couple years ago. But literally, I went through a phase where, like, I'm exaggerating the time. I don't know, but I just can't cry. Like, I'm not an easy crier. And I would see girls on the subway, right, crying in public, and I would look like I would see them, and I'd just be like, "Oh man, that looks great." I wish it, like, because at some point
I cry all the time.
I wish, dude. I wish it looks
Dude,
like it feels good to stop.
I cried 3 times watching Warrior for this podcast. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I cried 3 separate times in that movie. It was the father's, obviously the father-son shit, but I was just like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not gonna cry at the fucking fighting. I'm like, oh, this fucking.
I wish, dude. I can't do it.
Wow.
And I would see, but like he has that moment. And I maybe have had like a couple good cries. Like I remember one good cry at my grandfather's funeral in 2007. And it wasn't even because I was, you know what I mean? Like genuinely, I can point. I got to the point where I would watch like inspirational singing audition videos, like America's Got Talent and shit, just to like feel things.
Wow.
It was like, bro,
I
it's
used
hard.
to, for years on my Facebook, I used to post like videos that would make you cry, and then the caption would always be, "Have you had your daily cry? I got you."
I remember
that was me, and I would do that every day because I would, and I wasn't, that wasn't like lip service. I would literally cry during those, like
I would watch that and I'd be like, "What a pussy."
Yeah, and I would be like, I'll be sharing that
home.
I'll be sharing it on Facebook like this, like literally wiping tears from my eyes, typing. Like, oh, I'll be crying. Like,
I've gotten better about it, but it's also like there was a time where it was bad. And I feel this movie where I feel like I understand that like that release that would come from like decades of not and then so he has this experience, but he doesn't get caught apparently, because then on the way out, everything's getting burned, whatever. And then Tay Diggs is like, "Hey, are you gonna report that?" And we learn that he himself has stolen a book, like 006 did in the earlier scene. He steals a book.
This is why I don't read books, bro. Get you.
That's
in trouble.
why, because
this is the
Tetragrammaton clerics.
Right.
But yeah, and then so he has the book and he steals the book, which is a direct parallel to the 006 scene, which you were talking about earlier. I don't know if you mentioned what you want to mention.
Well, yeah, that and the fact that there's 2 things. Yeah. There's like the whole thing, him stealing a book is important. I just wanted to make sure that was that bullshit excuse of like he uses the same exact excuse.
Then he uses the same that like he I learned it from watching you. Then we discover that even in this future that people don't even know what pets are. They're like, why would you have love for an animal? Get it? Get it? Metaphor sledgehammer. And there's a pen of dogs where these people were keeping pets. And then these fuckers just start shooting them. This is trigger warning. It was bad. It was brutal.
Literally, I wrote this down. I almost stopped watching this movie and just out of sheer like fucking like, no, I'm not watching. Fuck it. I'm not watching this movie anymore. Because I wasn't already feeling this movie already. But then this scene happened. I'm like, I don't need it.
The metaphor sledgehammer was rough on this one, but they start doing all this stuff because again they're unfeeling bastards, and we get it. But they showcase this thing, and all of a sudden a little puppy Burmese mountain dog escapes, and he catches. They're the cutest. They're so cute. A cute little puppy. And
that's another odd on a day's work. That dog only worked that day.
That dog only worked that day, and then at the end, when the dog, the dog gets rescued because they're like, "Oh, just throw it back in. I'll shoot it with the others." It's like Jesus, and he's like, we have to check it for disease or whatever." Again, obvious, like anybody, it would be like, I guess when you have no emotions, you're just bad at detecting lies. Right. But yeah, it's so stupid. He's like, "Hey," and he takes the dog, and then we change scenes, and we get another.
He tries to white fang the dog. Get.
Yeah.
He tries to white fang it. It doesn't work.
So I was trying to think of the name of the character to see if people know, but like the dude from The Big Short has another debrief with Isaac the Bruce. But this time in the classic sci-fi stuff, he's not in person. He's got huge head on giant screen sci-fi trope. And we learned that the government or whoever this is not taking the council. The father is not taking prisoners anymore. It's the will of the Father, and he is law. And we see this dude, the voice of the Father, is straight up having an emotional impact because he's
upset. He's upset.
And then we see everybody having emotions because John Cleric does the Arthur meme with the clenched fist.
Yeah,
he does it.
The whole time I kept saying, fear is a path to the dark side. Like I kept saying that because I'm like, this is an emotion. These are all emotions. I was like, did this guy, whoever wrote the movie, that has never seen Star Wars? Because anger is an emotion. He thought anger is not an emotion. He's like, oh, this is not a. And I'm like, and the funny thing is that the whole reason why they are neutralizing human emotions is to stop people from wars.
Yes.
And anger is the one that leads people to wars.
Yeah, and that's what they say, that like the problem with, it's very misanthropic is the word, where you just hate people, where it's like the problem with humanity is all the humans. You know what I mean? Like it's like, yeah, I guess. And then now this is the time where
that's such a fucking pretentious statement to make.
I hate the people are the problem with humanity. Yeah. It's like, Jesus, all right.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. You're technically not wrong, but you're still technically a douchebag. But you're still technically a douchebag. Yeah, exactly.
It's that Big Lebowski line of, you're not wrong, you're just an asshole. Yeah. Cleric Preston has a little rundown memory lane with the footage of his wife. And then he's like, why are you watching the most emotionally engaging shit? You're a rookie with your emotions. Don't do it. You're gonna get caught.
Yeah, he's like ODing. He's like trying to OD on emotions.
Yeah. He's like a teenager that gets their first case of beer and is like, yeah, and then like, I'm gonna drink the whole thing. Like, you just don't learn your lesson.
He's a teenager who's like had a sip of alcohol and then he goes out and buys a MD40. He's like, this is good, right? This is good. It's like
clear. It's like, Jesus.
You gonna learn today.
Yeah.
You gonna learn
today. And then he goes to pull out evidence from the lady, Mary O'Brien, the punch drunk love lady, and he fondles it molly-tastically because he's still emotionally rolling balls. And then he heads out to the nether, like,
I never saw it as emotionally rolling, but that is a perfect fucking metaphor, dude. That is exactly what's happening. I never saw it as emotionally.
Senses are
his senses are on overload. They're on overload.
Yeah,
right.
Because he's feeling feelings, but also like I equated it to like the touch.
It's perfect. It's a great. I never, because I don't do drugs and I've never done them. I don't immediately go there. Not saying that you have, but you've also worked in emergency rooms where you've seen plenty of this shit come into the emergency room.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I'm trying to give you legal leeway.
Yeah.
So like, but it's just funny. Yeah. Go ahead. I never put it together, but it's perfect. It's a perfect analogy.
He's literally high on his own emotional. He's high on his own supply right now. Yeah. And then so he's like doing all of these weird things, and then he's like, I'm gonna go out to the nether. But Tay Diggs is onto him. And he sees him. They show that he sees him, and then he tries to do he tries to do the white fang. He tries to free the puppy, like get. He tries to get on out of here, get on, get. But how could you resist that face? You see the little puppy, so cute. And then all of a sudden,
I wonder if they got a Bernice because of where the location of where they were shooting. I wonder if they're more abundant there.
Like just straight up mountain, like it's like we're in Germany.
Yeah, we're in Germany. There's I believe that's a German breed, if I'm not mistaken.
I wonder where are Bernese mountain dogs?
So I just wonder if they're like everywhere. They're like, oh, there we could just find those everywhere.
Yeah. Switzerland and in the Swiss Alps. You're so close.
I knew it was in the area, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So finally we get a showdown. An attack squad comes out and gets him while he's got the dog, and the tension builds because he can't identify himself because he has the coat in the trunk with the puppy because he tried to give the puppy a little comfy. I love it. It's so cute. Anyway, let's unpack. Like all of it. So the tension builds. There's that exchange, and the trunk opens up. He's like, it's in my trunk. I'm gonna get found out. And then all of a sudden, he just starts taking people out. You get the motorcycle flip. You get the.
So this is where my timestamp came in. 51 minutes, 45 seconds, and we see Gun Kata in action, and it's the first significant action sequence that's not just shooting, because everything else has just been gunshots going off in the backdrop. So this is the first actual, and then I'm like, is this now a Kickflix movie? Like I was questioning it because I was like, 51
this is
minutes
where
and 45 seconds into the movie.
This is what I consider it.
Yeah, and again, this is I did, and then I did the same thing. I timestamped the same thing with the accountant. Remember with the accountant, we were like, "Whoa, it took a while for us to finally get some kind of a hand-to-hand or some kind of like martial art, but we got there. We got it."
They disguised it, the gunplay, by making it look like a kung fu, but it is now we actually get like him hitting people with the fucking, he's like actually fighting people with weapons.
He kills at least 9, by the way, in this scene.
Oh, we have his body count.
I have the body count of this scene. He kills at least 9.
Yes. I have a body count. We'll see. We'll get there at the end. But the reason why the fight pops off is because the puppy is cute and just wants some attention and makes a little noise, and then boom, 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 all that death because of this fucking dog.
That's where the fuck came in. Because when he shoots the guy with a shotgun, the guy goes "fuck." That's where the fuck came in. So we had the same timestamp. It's just my timestamp was like, "Oh, this is the first action. This is the first action." And
the first martial art. So a lot of hyper stylized gunplay later. The dog lives. The dog survives, which is always nice. And then back home, John Preston is having a crisis moment. So much so that he pulls the mirror off the wall and he's like, "I gotta hide things," and he puts it there to hide his meds that he's not taking.
Because nobody checks behind the vanity mirror for medicine. Nobody does that.
That's not where you put medicine. Yeah, literally where everybody puts medicine. This is the future. We've lost some of these critical thinking skills when we've lost our emotions. And then we get to eat a little bit more. We get to maybe not a montage, but a training session. Good old-fashioned good guy sparring the bad guy as a demonstration of their skills. And it starts with John training solo, doing that with the sticks, those like kendo sticks.
Yeah.
And we learn, and then here comes Taye Diggs again, man. The cock block of the century, this guy Taye Diggs, and he's doing and he challenges him to a sparring match, and because he's feeling things, John is flipping. He's not focused because we're learning that the Tetragrammaton is cracking down on the resistance, and they're ramping up the violence, and they're just thanks to the killing that he did the night before, they're gonna start straight up just making it worse for everybody. It's like, you're responsible. So he's dealing with all these emotions. It's a draw. And what would the scene be if Taye Diggs didn't also say, "Come on, we got another raid to go to," because that's all he does in this fucking movie.
I put they spar ... and flirt ?
You think, is this something about that you're seeing that
I think Taye Diggs. I think Taye Diggs is doing this whole thing where we find out later that he knows something that Christian Bale doesn't know. Right, about Christian Bale's character. So he's like kind of like showing him that he knows something but doesn't want to say that he knows something. So he's doing this like kind of like playful thing, and it comes off a bit as flirtatious.
Not only that, emotional. He's showing emotion in this scene
the whole time.
Yeah. He's like kind of smarmy about it, but again,
that's it. Swarmy could be
like he's like kind of like a dick about it, which is like a lot of people interpret charming someone to be like, all you gotta do is be kind of an asshole with a smile, and then you're good.
That's kind of like what I was.
That's what he's doing.
What I mean when I said flirtatious, I didn't mean literal flirtation, but I meant like he's kind of like playing with him. It's like, is it so swarmy? That's a good.
So he does his quest giver thing. Hey, we got more people to kill. And this time, now the raid is raiding. It is heavy, and he is Christian Bale goes full double agent. We see him straight up giving these people an out, telling them, "Hey, escape." And then he helps them by killing officers with more gun kata, and he starts smashing motorcycle helmets. And this is martial art. He's pistol whipping the shit out of these people, hyper stylized pistol whipping. But he kills a whole bunch of cops only. Well, I will say this. This is the first time I see in the gun kata. This is one of the things where I have to be honest about it. everybody should take a step back, right? Because at that point, like, we have guns. We don't need to be this close.
Oh
nobody does.
He starts off. First of all, he kills 2 guys first, right?
Yeah.
And then the second guy that he kills, after breaking arms or whatever, he does this spinning heel punch to the face.
Yeah.
That we are meant to think that he did it 3 times. But it's like the laziest copy paste. It just looks like the same exact.
They're doing the Jackie Chan where you show the hit more than once to emphasize power.
Jackie Chan does it in different angles, and this is the same exact angle.
The same angle.
Yeah. Ooh, this is you could tell. Like,
you gotta let the eye register.
They do it in Rocky as well. They do it in every fight movie. It's like if they show different angles. But and then there's 6 guys that surround him.
They are so close, and they have fucking assault rifle. That's not even the range for the fucking rifle. Like, you don't. Why are you this close? I kept laughing because I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I get it."
Yeah.
But he
takes the heel.
He
beats it. He pistol whips him with the butt of his handguns, and it just looked cheesy, man. It just looked bad. I know it's supposed to look badass, but it did not look badass.
They're trying.
It looked like a little kid trying to play drums with the pots and pans. What it looked like.
This was one of those moments where I was like, also, you have guns, like, just, shoot. You don't need to do because I think it went on too long, but also all these guys are clearly, like, this is classic action movies. This is why ninjas were popular. They dress everybody up the same, and then you have like maybe 10 actual fighters, and everybody else is just for when the body hits the ground, they go cut, and they put that other guy on the body. So everybody kind of is interchangeable and etc. So these guys are wearing motorcycle helmets and trench coats, and that's like their fight attire.
Well, excuse me. Whatchamacallit, John Wick does the same thing where one stunt guy will play different roles in the same scene.
And that's just.
Did you watch the documentary, the Wick is Pain?
I started. I never finished it, but I started watching while I was sleepy.
One stunt guy goes, yeah, I've been killed by John Wick more than anybody else. And he says, in that one tunnel scene alone in Rome, I was killed like 4 times. In that one tunnel scene.
But it's
the
true.
Same scene.
The only time I've ever done an action sequence was in this like independent bullshit martial arts movie that my friend was in, the Street Survival.
Well, your dad was in.
My dad was in. We should do Street Survival on Kickflix.
No, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying.
No, that's so funny. Or a watch party of it. It's terrible. But the that's when I was like, okay, I saw the what they were trying to do, to try and make it look good. It is not easy to make that look good. And if anybody's seen, I highly recommend everyone go watch Every Frame a Painting on YouTube. Every Frame a Painting does like these video essays, and one of them is about Jackie Chan and his style of editing. And it broke my brain when I watched it, because it is true that a lot of Western directors have to hide the fact that these people aren't good at fighting. Their actors aren't good at fighting. Yeah. So there's a lot of these little tips and tricks, but it's hard to make things look good, especially even if they're good at fighting, because you have to do things right, whatever. The whole point is that all of these dudes could have prevented their own deaths by just going like, yoink. Yeah. But ultimately, so there's this whole raid going on. John,
I just wanted to make a note. Just wanted to make a note that this is right before here when he's telling the group of resistance fighters to go.
Yeah,
is when the Batman voice comes out.
Yes.
He goes, "Go, damn, go, damn you, go," and he just does that. I'm like, "Oh,
where is she?"
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
"Yeah,
okay."
Ultimately, Taye Diggs catches them all, and he's like, "You flush him out, and I trap him." He is a perfect symbiotic relationship. And then he's like, "All right, if you want our team, kill them all." And he hands him a gun.
Can I just tell you that I just want to give you this note because this is where I came up with Taye Diggs' name. The group that he was leading out has been captured by Benjamin Coffin.
Oh my god.
My god. And the group did not have the rent, so he opts to let the cops do the killing instead of doing it himself.
Oh boy. Man. Don't you dare rent me. Don't you give me rent. This is Kickflix. What crossover Venn diagram of people got rent and Kickflix in the same wheelhouse? That's you, baby.
People who like Taye Diggs.
People who like Tay Diggs.
People who like Tay Diggs. I mean, who likes Kickflixing? Still like your groove back. I'm not doing it for other Kickflix movies. I'm doing it for other movies that we know this actor
That's
from.
right. All the dudes. So all the dudes get. So John Preston refuses and is like, "Nah, you should take the credit." And he's like, "Here, you give him the credit." But realistically, he's like, "I feel bad for killing people. You should feel bad for killing people who, you know." And they all get firing squatted up against the sweet glass bricks that were everywhere in Miami in the 80s. Those like these, I picked up on them right away. I was like, "Oh, hey."
Here's why I picked up on them. One, I picked up on them because in Miami they were very prevalent. But two, he walks in that direction where the bullets are coming from. He's like, "You don't
walk downrange.
You don't walk that way. What are you doing?" That's okay. I'm not a cleric, but I know enough. Hey, you guys are shooting this way. I'm gonna walk this way. Like, don't. I shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't.
Straight up. So after that, there's they do the he gives credit to the other people, and then Tay Diggs doesn't even shoot the guys himself. He's just like, all right, I was gonna get these guys to do it anyway. A really cool shot. I mean, look, a lot of these shots are pretty good. Like you could see where they're going with it. I like some of the shots, the stylized, it's like really cool. I don't want to gloss over the choreography. Like we made fun of the gun kata now, but I liked a lot of it. You know, like it's different. It's like at the time it wasn't this. You know, it wasn't obviously the same because even in the Matrix there was a lot of like
which is
kung fu.
Which is why my disclaimer was I know I'm watching with 2025 eyes. I don't know if in that time I would have felt the same way. I don't know. Yeah. So it's impossible for me to know how I would have felt then.
Of course. There's another big face debrief, and John Cleric tells Isaac the Bruce that he wants to take out the underground. He's like, "Put me in, coach. No, I'm good." And then he hangs out with Sean Bean's dead body, and like unshot dead body.
So two notes I had about the scene is one that it was his that we don't see any bullet wounds at all anywhere, and then two, I said we see him sitting next to Ned Stark's body, giving the absolute, and I mean this as a huge Christian Bale fan, he's given the absolute worst acting performance ever.
Yeah,
when he says, "I'm so very sorry," and I was like, it took me so out of the movie. Which, by the way, I was already like, "Oh, this isn't a great movie."
You're like half in anyway.
But here's the thing: I was never criticizing the acting. I never criticized the acting throughout this whole portion. Throughout this whole portion, I could never say the acting is bad. I could criticize the acting, the directing, in the sense of like Tay Diggs is showing too much emotion. This guy is showing too much emotion. The whole point is that they don't show whatever. I could talk about the writing. I could talk about the gun kata, but never did I question the acting in this movie until this moment. I'm like, whoa,
that
Christian
was a
Bale. Yeah. That was like, what is happening here? This is even as shitty Batman voice. You're better than this. Yeah. Like this is really. Like, was this a bad day for you? What happened? Like, I
think there's a lot of I'm feeling emotional, but I'm not supposed to be emotional. There's a lot of Patrick Bateman in this performance. You know, there's a lot of American Psycho in this performance where he's like supposed to be holding it all together, but he's going crazy in the inside. You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. But we know he's able to do that because we saw him do it in American Psycho. So he should have been able to do it.
When was American Psycho?
It had to be before 2002. It had to be.
You think so?
I'm gonna say yes. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 2007.
Oh, 2000. No, it's 2000. You're right. Maybe he shot this at the same time. I know there was a big delay between when they shot this movie and when it came out. So maybe that's one of the reasons why
they waited for the Matrix to pop and they go, okay, now release it. Okay.
Or that was like, it's too close. Like maybe he was like, it's like it was too close, you know? Because it like look, even the thing, like look at the poster that I put up. It's literally looks like the Matrix. So maybe they just wanted to give a little time between that or whatever. But anyway, so when he's hanging out with Sean Bean's dead body, Boromir's arrow-pierced corpse, he discovers that him and Punch Drunk Love knew each other, and he goes to ask her some questions, right? And
dude, that picture of him, of Sean Bean,
the worst Photoshop I've ever seen.
The worst Photoshop I've ever. It's so funny. Bad. It was so blatant. I was like, dude, you guys.
Like, the lighting's off. It's like
you could tell that Sean Bean was like, I told you I was there for one fucking day.
I gave you 1 day.
1 day. You could have had me for one picture. You couldn't. Oh, fucking
it's
so
funny.
good. But it was so great.
Yeah.
This brought me joy. Like that. I'm like, oh, look at this fucking. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no. So
I'm glad you caught it. I'm glad you caught it.
Yeah.
I was about to take a
Terrible.
picture and just to send it to the episode. I'm like, well, you gotta watch this shit. You gotta look at this.
I've had to photo double people before, and you show up on set, and then you're just like a shoulder, or like you're there because when they do pictures of things, they go through and do like family photo shoot days for some things. You know, when they have the time, they bring everybody in and they make them shoot like the barbecue picture that the guy looks at later on. Like when they shoot the stuff that John Wick is looking at about his wife in the phone in the first movie, they had to shoot that, you know? So, or they Photoshop pictures like this. And so he confronts her, right? They do the interrogation, which apparently this guy has access to everything. So he's allowed to do all this stuff.
He has a multipass.
He's multipass. She tries to play it cool, but then loses it when when he reveals that 006 died by his hand. He's like, I killed him. And then she leaps across the table, and then they make eye contact, and they're like, "Oh, we're both feeling." And
then I wrote flirting ?
Flirting ? Nery, I'm starting to think you don't know what flirting is.
But I don't think that they know what flirting is because they're new to emotions. That's why I'm putting question marks. I'm putting question marks behind my flirtings. I don't know if this is flirting, but I'm asking. I don't know if they think it's flirting. Is my whole point. Like, do they think this is flirting? Because I don't know if this is what's happening.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
that's so funny. So,
and it turns out to be true. By the way, it turns out to be. I was right on this one. With her, I was right.
Yeah.
With her, I was right. I know this because of what happens later on in the movie, and also because of Wikipedia. So
there is so again, I'm watching this movie and making notes as somebody who has seen this movie a bunch of times, but now I have to present it as if we're experiencing it together for the first time, like the way the movie wants to be received.
Sure.
This isn't like when you go back and like this isn't. I have to treat it like it's not a rewatch for me because I have to assume that someone's going to see this and go watch Equilibrium for the first time.
Not after my review. Not
dozens of fans. Not really. He goes to investigate the library and discovers the library that 006 had been referencing. You know, he wrote freedom, and then he's like, I'm putting two and two together. He's like, I'm a good cop, kind of. And he goes to investigate this library, and then he discovers that it's connected to the underground. And the leader is the guy. This is the most guy that's in that thing all the time. Actor. His name's William Fichtner. This dude, whenever he pops up in anything, it's like, hey, that's that guy. He's the one that plays the Shredder in TMNT, the new one. He's the guy his name's William Fichtner. He's the head of the
all right, give me a second. I have a comptroller at my door. Hold on.
A comptroller. Oh, hey everybody. It's just me, William Fichtner. He's an American-born actor. Let me bring him up. We all know William Fichtner. Let me see. How do I share this? This guy. We all know this guy. He's been in Heat. He's in Virtuosity.
That guy.
Things. This guy is it. He's the most.
He doesn't play the Shredder, by the way.
Oh no, he plays.
He plays the head of the corporation. He plays the head of the corporation.
He was supposed to be the Shredder. He was supposed to be the Shredder in TMNT. But yeah, he's one of those dudes that he pops up in everything. And every time I see him, I'm like, hey, it's that guy. And he's the most. It's that guy of all time.
So in Spanish, we have a phrase because this guy every time he's usually the bad guy in every movie. And in Spanish, we have a phrase, que tiene cara.
Que tiene cara?
Él tiene cara.
He has that face.
He has that face where he's like, he has a bad guy face. Él tiene cara.
Yeah. He's I remember him. He's in Contact as a good guy. He's one of the scientist friends of Jodie Foster.
That's another movie I haven't seen. I've never seen that movie.
I love that movie. He's in Heat. He's in Virtuosity. He's in Armageddon. He's in so many movies.
I almost quoted him as the Armageddon guy because he in Armageddon he gives that dope ass speech. He was the bravest man I ever met. He's like, your dad was the bravest man I ever met. I was like, whoa. Did you cry at that? You fucking stone. You heart made of stone. Jesus.
I don't. Hey man, I'm sorry. I'm not soft like you. Okay.
Sorry that you're a real man.
I'm a real man who's struggling so much. But he was also he was the Dark Knight bank manager at the beginning of Dark Knight. He's in everything. Anyway, that guy, he's the boss of the underground. He's or one of the leaders of the underground. We never really get if he's the guy.
Wikipedia says he is.
He is the guy. But at this stage, we just see him, and then he's like, but they've been on to our guy for a while too.
Wait, so I wanted to write down because he's able to find him because he goes to a library and talks to somebody that has been feeling feelings, that he knows has been feeling feelings. And then I like the fact that he slams him to the table and he goes, I know that you're off of it. Then why are you so afraid of me? I'm like, could you just slam me on the fucking table?
Yeah.
That's
Could
a
you
thing.
imagine? Like, I want to see everyone else in this world who's just going about their daily lives and not having a crisis of emotions. Like, are they like, if let's say there's a car accident or somebody like an explosion happens, is everybody just like kaboom? Okay, I guess I gotta go back, you know, like what is happening? Like, how do they handle things? I would love to see that version.
I was gonna say I would love to see a fist fight, but there would be no fist fight because there's no emotion. I guess so like, there is no fist
someone
fight.
Would bump someone say, excuse me, and then they would go about their business.
Oh,
Maybe
it's Canada.
We are the problem.
It's Canada.
It's Canada. Maybe we are the problem.
But this is what I wrote. So this is what I wrote. He meets Jurgen because he goes through a library, and then Bale throws the guy through the books like he's a Florida lawmaker. I hate these goddamn books, and he just throws them and just demolishes and finds a false door.
I'm starting to think
that's where he meets Jurgen.
The metaphor sledgehammer. I think this is appropriate for now because people are like, "What do you mean books are bad? Oh, the books will lead the way to the future. We need to be reading, not be banning books, but reading them."
This is like a darker tone idiocracy where it foretold the future that's actually happening. It's like, son of a bitch.
Dark idiocracy is a very funny way to describe equilibrium. It's you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Damn, that's good. Because he throws him through the wall like the books will show you the way. You know, like it's straight up again, metaphor sledgehammer in this movie. So they need to know if they can trust him. So they strap him to a lie detector to be that's the test, right? And he gives so this
which by the way is the lie detector test is not good for detecting lies, but in this case it would be good for detecting emotion because that's all the lie detector actually detects is the emotion.
100%. So this Jurgen guy gives John like a lesson in feelings, like he's like a sad Yoda, like he's giving him the whole like feel the force kind of situation. When you're in control of it, let it flow through you. You know, that kind of he's giving a Yoda conversation. And
I called it the douchebag boyfriend conversation, where when your friend, you go through this phase where your friends are telling you that they're cheating on their girlfriends, right? Like you're 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And the guy, and then you have that douchebag friend who's always like, bro, what you got to do is you got to lie to them, but just with a straight face. Like he's literally telling him, you got to hide your emotions. Even though you feel it, you can't show them that you're feeling it. Like he's like, so I don't feel it all the time. Like he's just doing that. It's so funny that you went with Yoda, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, you're giving that douchebag guy conversation.
I don't hang out with those kind of dudes there.
But
we were out of my life. I have 40
when we were 14, when we were 14, 15,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I don't hang out with them. I don't hang out with them now. I'm too busy traveling, working. But
I remember it in my 20s. And I will say that there was a couple times where like those dudes are not in my life, but people would come up to me and be like, man, this girl, blah, 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 blah. She thinks I'm cheating on her. I was like, are you cheating on her? It's like, yeah, but I'm not going to be like, okay.
Yeah, but
so
she doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. It's like,
but she doesn't need to know that.
Yeah, but I've not given her a reason for her to accuse me. I'm like, but you have.
I mean, you're just bad at it. Like that was my thing. I was like, you're just bad at cheating. Like just take the L, But then, so he gives him the sad Yoda speech / douchebag boyfriend speech, and then he drops the big mission on him. We're like, we need you to kill father. Basically, this is just one big therapy session where everybody is just like, you really should fight your dad. And
it's one big therapy session, but they just cut to the chase. You know how therapists are like, well, how do you feel? How does that make you feel? And they're like,
How does that make
listen,
you
I'm going
feel?
to tell you what to do. This
Yeah.
is like shrinking. Where it's like,
Yes,
I'm going to tell you how to fix it because
Yeah.
you're just an asshole. Go
This is one of those things where this is Paul F. Tompkins bit. He says it's a bit about therapy, and I love the line where he's like, it's not all about your blaming your parents, but there's enough about it in there so you feel like you're getting your money's worth. You know what I mean? Like, so they tell him you're gonna have to kill the leader of this world, and then John Preston starts having a freak out in the streets in public, and he's crying. His public's having a freak out in an alley, and then he gets picked up by the fuzz. He gets brought into the boss, normal size head, because he's in person now, and he accuses him of feeling emotions. The voice accuses John Preston of feeling emotions, while this dude is clearly having emotions. He's screaming at him.
I wrote that down. I said, so Diggs, who has been suspecting Preston of being a sex offender, arrest him in a very loud and boisterous manner, showing emotion, a lot of emotions.
This is the voice. I'm talking about where he goes in front of the voice guy. He goes in front of the voice guy, and then because that part's coming later, because there's this whole exchange where he's giving like a debrief where he's,
right.
Yeah. And then he's
she's gonna die. She's gonna die. Whatever. Blah blah. Basically.
Yeah. And then he's basically told to. He's like, hey, like, so he's like, no, I'm good. He's basically like, stop fucking around, bust these guys already, and then, but while they're investigating him, so he's okay. So he has this check-in. They tell him this guy, the voice of the father is yelling at him, and he's just like, all right, get it together, man. We gotta bust these guys. Yeah. Then he goes home, and then we see that he has not been taking his medicine at all. He goes back to his stockpile behind the medicine cabinet where the medicine goes. Right. And then he starts messing with his kid's dose, and the snitch of all snitches catches him. What's the name of the kid in Recess? That's the snitch, the informant.
Randall.
Randall. He's a fucking Randall, this kid.
Dude, the fact that I knew that is surprising.
Yeah, that's a great
know. I like shit. Which, by the way, also the fucking villain in Monsters Inc., Randall.
Yeah. Fuck off. If you Randall out there, your name is Randall, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Randall.
Fuck you, Randall.
Snitch.
Basically, he catches him, but then he's like, I just want to make sure you're taking your medicine or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes to visit Mary O'Brien on her execution eve, right?
Right.
So, like, it's the day before she's about to be burnt to a crisp, which you wonder why. Like, this place is all about efficiency. You know, like, what are we doing? And then he reveals to her that he's off his meds. They do that thing that they do in Bridgerton where their fingertips touch. Like where it's just like it's not horny, but it's horny. It's not horny, but it is. Where they're like,
it's women don't like to call it horny. They call it spicy.
It's spicy. It is arousing.
I love it when my wife goes, "Oh, I'm reading my novel. It's my spicy novel." I'm like, "You're reading porn. Just say you're reading porn.
Just porn. Just say it. You're getting the same out of it." And they did it. The tips touch, and they have a moment. And then. So like we're like, okay, we get it. You wish you could be fucking, and then we cut to the underground again where they're doing the battle. They're doing the battle plan, right, for the attack. Right, they're going after the meds, and then they miss one dose, and human nature will sort itself out. Kind of like if we had a general worker strike in this country, the entire billionaire class would suffer, and we should probably do that. While they do that, John Cleric has to go after the big boss himself, right? So there's like multiple fronts of attack happening. And then he's told very clearly, do not get involved in this lady's execution. But then he goes and watches the most triggering video of all time, his wife's execution. And of course, that sets him off. And then he runs to the building. Nobody in the city runs. You would be like the most obvious red flag.
So many hallways, so many long hallways.
Yeah, and he's running. Nobody's like you're attracting so much attention to yourself. Anyway, these women get burned when they're wearing robes for some reason, and I was like, they're witches. This is a metaphor for witches. Again, the metaphor hammer strikes again.
Have you seen that video where they're doing like they're burning a witch and like witch? Burn the witch, burn the witch. And then the witch goes, I have a spell that can make your penis larger. And they go, save the witch, save the witch.
I always wonder, like, what would happen if the lady didn't burn? Like, what would they have done?
They prove that she
They'd
was
be
a
like,
witch?
"Ooh, our bad. Sorry, magical being with awesome cosmic powers." Yeah. Then,
Right.
so he gets there just in time to watch this lady go up in smoke. Obviously, he feels some kind of way about it. Now we're in the bad trip stage of the new emotional drug levels. You know what I'm talking about? Where he was tripping good and experiencing things, but now he's in the bad trip stage. So he collapses in the front of the building steps in public, and then Tay Diggs peeks his head in. Tay Diggs gets him, publicly shames him. Now we're at that scene, beating the shit out of him, being braggadocious, showing emotion, and he does this weird stance with his leg that goes up. Did you see that part? Did you notice that part?
No.
He's done such a deep lunge to get into frame that his knee is by his head. His foot is like up here by his head. It was, I don't, it's not important to the story, but it was so fucking weird to me. It stands out. Like, no one said, hey, you could just kneel. Like, you could just not do that. He gets in like such a deep lunge to get into frame. It's weird, but he's mocking him. He's basically emotionally.
Is this not why you are here? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
He literally does the raising
it.
the hands thing. Yeah.
And he beats the shit out of him. And then
I mean, he punches him once and kicks him once. Oh, but beats the shit out of him. Let's take it easy with that.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Remember, we have to take that into account.
Yeah, so true. Fucking.
I want to find the shot of his leg thing because it's so weird to me, the leg thing. Anyway, so he takes him in front of Isaac the Bruce, the voice of the father, and then our man John Preston pulls the old switcheroo, and he does he's the I'm rubber, you're glue situation where he's like, see, this motherfucker is feeling emotions. This guy's doing it, and he gets taken away. And then a bunch of stuff happens real quickly. You could see that they were like, we gotta run out. We ran out of shots. We gotta do
the Masters of the Universe type shit here.
Yes, they really kind of Cliff's notes this exchange, because so he makes good with the boss, and he's like, I want to meet Daddy in person. Then he runs home, and they're searching his place, and he sees that his secret stash is missing. He pulls the mirror off the wall, and he's like, oh no, they got me. But surprise, surprise, another switcheroo. His Randall snitch of a kid, he's been good the whole time. He's better at pretending to be emotionless than our guy is. He's been feeling feelings this whole time, and he's a kid.
Since his mom died.
And
or his mom was murdered. I don't know. I don't want to say his mom died because his mom was murdered.
His mom was executed. Yeah. And we learned that the kid and the little sister both of these kids have been off their dose since their mom died. This dude is terrible at his job of knowing when people are feeling, because he's been in the same fucking house. I mean, again, he's an absentee father. He's not there. You know, he's
Sigma dad, man. Sigma dad. You gotta, you know.
He's a Sigma dad. And then now we get the activation of the plan where Preston turns in the resistance. They all go voluntarily so that he can get in close to Daddy. That's what I'm calling him now. And they let him in, sort of. He has to like jump through all these hoops. He's dressed in his nice white uniform with a samurai sword. He's like, why would you bring the sword? You know they're gonna take it from you. And then they hook him up to the polygraph again, mirroring the previous scene. And surprise, Tay Diggs shows up, cock block of the universe, and he's like, you fell for our double cross when you did your double cross. It was actually a triple quadruple cross, you know, like one of those twist endings. Yeah.
That's the whole time I kept thinking about this, like Looney Tunes, like I've double crossed you. No, you've double crossed me. It's a triple cross. It's a quadruple cross. And I'm like, oh boy.
Wabbit season, duck season.
That's exactly
We're literally wabbit season, duck seasoning it. And then we learned that he's been played this whole time. So it's been like part of the game to see how crazy, to make sure that he does this whole process. It's like we couldn't have somebody in on it get caught, so we had to have somebody believe the lie and go in and do the whole thing, but under our control. Once again, Isaac the Bruce betrays another hero because he did the same thing to Braveheart. And then you could see the polygraph. I love the technique of the polygraph going crazy. His emotions are going nuts. He's feeling all these things. And then all of a sudden, he locks in.
He learned how to be a douchebag.
He learned how to lie about cheating on his girlfriend. He learned how to lie like a 15-year-old boy. And he locks in. And that's when we get gun kata again. Now we're getting into some real martial arts stuff. We get real kickflixy with the situation. But it's like a combo of everything because he goes on this whole like shooting rampage. He does this is where we finally see him reload because he has the guns in his sleeves. Like they showed that a couple times. But now we see that he also has extra magazines in his sleeves as well. And then he throws random like magazine, like he throws these like weighted bullet, like the magazines. He throws them out there. He's like, I'm gonna need you later. That's how good I am. I know where I'm going to be when I run out of bullets. And then he starts doing, again, shooting faceless. They might as well be ninjas. Like, because whenever you see somebody in uniforms that are covering their face, they might as well be like the equivalent of 80s ninjas, action movie ninjas, because it is just disposable people.
Or ICE agents.
Or ICE agents. They might as well be, they're disposable too.
Topical. Topical.
Message. What's that from? Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice. That's a real movie that if you showed a Gen Z person that they'd lose their minds.
They would lose their fucking mind.
Bro, there's so many layers of reference going on in those. Forget it. So he does this super cool move with the machine gun. He does that whole kick it up like almost like you do a skateboard, and then he catches it. He starts shooting everybody. He's dispatching everybody gun kata style. And when he finally makes it to the Voice's office, we get the showdown of the sword fight, Zatoichi reverse grip sword fight style that you think we're about to get Taye Diggs' big epic fight scene with Christian Bale, but surprise, he's locked in. You only got a draw with me last time because I was high on Molly for like experiencing my emotions for the first time. I'm locked in now, buddy. I'm gonna slice your face off, and he does.
Taye Diggs goes down faster than he did in Jamaica to help Stellar get her groove back.
It was so anticlimactic.
I was like,
not Stella gets her groove back. I love Angela Bassett for life. I love you.
And then when the face slit comes off, I just kept thinking about that scene from The Office. He was like, by far the most expensive shot in the movie. By far.
Yeah.
By far the most expensive shot.
Not the sun fake city thing.
But his face is like, yeah, that's the Toby's head blowing off. This was Toby's head blowing off.
Yes. Yeah. But so I do want to point out he did disarm him. He sliced off the guns because his guns fall off, and then his face falls off. And it's like, yep, good, solid. But it does show that he is very much the elite fighter, that all of this was just because he's like, I was feeling feelings. Now I know how to control them. They are my strength. I'm going to use the force or whatever the fuck. Then now we get the square up between John Preston and the voice of the father or whatever, Isaiah. Oh, this is where we learn the whole time there has been no father. The real father died a long time ago. They're just keeping the lie alive to keep everybody in check. Propaganda. Yeah. This guy's just been running the show the whole time because of his own personal feelings, and he's been running up. And then we finally get like the showdown between the main, between Daddy and John Preston. And this is, I think, we get peak gun kata close quarter. I mean, it's already been pretty close because they could have just stepped back, but now we get the whole like the gun trapping. Trapping is the kung fu the term for like when you slap hands away, and so you get a lot of that. And it was
nobody could hear anything after this fight. You're deaf.
Everyone is fucking deaf after fight. Like at the end of the fight, someone goes. It's like that thing in Shazam where he's telling the bad guys giving a speech. He's like, "What?"
Okay.
And then so finally he draws the gun on him, and then which I do love this. This is as Kickflix as it get, because now this is a martial art with the gun, with the hand to hand, with the shooting, and this I love this fight scene. I unabashedly love it. And then once John Preston finally gets the upper hand, Isaac the Bruce tries to do the whole like, if you prick me, do I not bleed? I feel. And then John Preston's like, cool, I'm gonna shoot you anyway. Yeah. And he's like, because now he's either emotionless or emotion full, but either way, all of me wants you dead. And he just fucking shoots him in the face, takes him out. And then the next shot is then John Preston like you see clearly some stuff has happened because he's got blood on him, he's got other stuff, and he shows up at the propaganda department he shows up at Fox News, and he shows up at Fox News, and he's like basically he does what everyone has wanted to do at some point: smash the technology that's ruining your life.
Yeah, but here's the problem that I have: he just shoots out the monitors. He doesn't shoot. I get it. And he shoots out the monitors, and when he shoots out the monitors, then all the fucking he cuts out the feed to all the TVs and blimps and screens.
There's a hard drive back there.
There's a hard drive somewhere. That's just a monitor. We all know this. That's just a guys. What's going on here? There's a tower. What are we doing here?
Yeah, the blimps. Somebody's piloting those blimps. So at the end, we see this kind of like he's doing this very like he's also doing.
I'm worried about the dog the whole fucking movie, man. The whole time, like who's feeding this fucking dog? Because this guy doesn't even know this shit needs to eat. This guy doesn't even know this. He has no idea that it's he's never had a pet.
But we do get the ending montage. He shoots all the monitors out. Now we cut to there's explosions happening. There's rebellion and revolution in the streets. And there's the daughter petting and feeding the puppy. The puppy lives. Also, we should all stand up against dictatorships and
tyranny,
fascism and tyranny by doing all of these things. But hey, this is message. This is a lesson to be learned by your metaphor sledgehammers. And then the final shot is John Preston looking over the world that he has helped bring about, and he gives a little smile, and you see he's feeling feelings. And of course, it's accompanied by pounding techno music because this was a sci-fi movie made in the early 2000s, and those are the rules.
Those are the rules. And Evanescence was too popular; they couldn't get the rights. All right. So, real quick, within 8 minutes, we gotta.
I see it. Yeah.
So, your review, your rating, and then.
Yeah, my favorite scene is obviously the last fight scene, the trapping the thing. But I will say the first time you see the gun kata in the strobe light is also kind of very impactful. When I first seen it, it was good. I'm going to give this. I love it. I'm going to give it for what it's trying to be. I'm going to give it four DVD commentaries out of 5. Where someone has to explain to you shit. The DVD commentaries where someone has to be like, look, this is why we did it. Yeah. This is why it's this bad. I'm going to give it 4 of those out of 5.
All right. My favorite scene, I'm going to go ahead and say, I was going to try to be a dick and be like, that Photoshop with Ned Stark and that chick was fucking, like, that made me laugh for real, bro. I laughed out loud. Like, that's awesome. That brought me joy. But I will say, before I didn't like this movie, I did like the scene of him running into the pitch blackness. I thought that was a cool scene, so I will give it that is a cool scene. With the strobe lights and the flashing, it was cool. I like that. So I like that scene. My rating is going to be 2 Bernese Mountain Dogs out of 5. 3 is a recommendation. I cannot I did not see the doc. I have not watched the director's commentary, so I don't know why I should give it a break.
No,
as per what you said. No, I know you saying. I know you.
Yeah,
I'm just going based upon what you said. You're like, but 2 out of 5, man. It's 2 out of 5.
We present differing opinions so that you, the viewer, can make your own choices.
But this is every movie podcast. This is every movie podcast. It's the same thing. It's the whole reason. Like, I don't know. To give a disclaimer every time is like, this is how I feel. Yeah, of course. This is how
we are the equilibrium to every other Matrix podcast, movie podcast. We are. Correct. We're just doing our version of it.
And if
man.
you think about it, we're two sides of the coin. You gave it a 4, I gave it a 2. Somewhere in
Average
the middle.
of a 3. Somewhere is average is a 3. So that is a recommend. That is a recommend with an asterisk.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question to you is this about this movie: are these cops good or bad?
All cops are bad.
Okay. Are these cops specifically in this movie? Because good cops are doing bad things, but the quote unquote bad cops are doing the good thing.
Once he stops doing what he's supposed to be doing as a cop, he becomes good.
But he's still a cop, so that makes him a bad cop.
It's action, not label. It's like whatever. It's like just because you call me something doesn't mean I'm that. So
But
he may
is he
be labeled as a cop, but he's doing good guy things once he stops being a cop.
But is he a bad cop then? Because he stopped being a cop. So he's a bad
all
cop.
Cops are bad.
Okay. So
no, I get what you say. He's bad at his job.
With that thread, my next pick is Demolition Man. Because we get a cop who's not good, but he gets the job done, but he does it the way that he's not supposed to do it. Is a bad cop. So bad cops is my. I was gonna go with Time Cop, but we just did a Van Damme movie.
No, yeah.
So I went with Demolition Man.
I will say this. Yeah, we can't. This isn't the Van Damme podcast, but what I'll say is, Demolition Man is another sci-fi dystopia, but in a different, like where people have tried to soften the world.
Yeah. Again, these people try to just soften the world as well, but it's
yeah. So
through other means.
Next episode is 1993's Demolition Man, starring Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock, and Wesley Snipes. You'd think Wesley Snipes would show up more often than he did. We did Blade back in the day.
We did Blade.
We got there's a couple of we got to do Art of War. But yeah. Wesley Snipes, I think we'll talk about it on the next episode.
There you go.
Demolition Man, 1993.
All right. Thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you go to Kickflix Pod on everything social and kickflixpod@gmail.com.
If you want to send your suggestions in, you can follow us individually at Mike Mercadal, at Nery Saenz. Go check out all the podcasts on the GeekBro Podcast Network. We are on the GeekBro YouTube channel right now, GeekBro Podcast Network on YouTube, and you can check out the other shows in the archives there. You can also, we're streaming live on Instagram, so you can follow Nery on Instagram, Nery Saenz, at Nery Saenz. Thank you, everybody, for watching this week's episode of Kickflix. I was afraid to jump the gun.